Hello everyone, I am Professor Ayiswarya. I am going to explain about kinematics in this lecture video. So here in this video, we will be seeing the topics of introduction to kinematics and definitions in the kinematics. So when coming to kinematics, this is a part of physics which we have learned everything in our earlier classes. So why, in what way it is used in mechanics means without physics, mechanics cannot be exist. Right. So mechanics is the combination of physics as well as mathematics. So here in the physics, we are going to study about the topics kinematics. So here I have given various definitions that are very important in the kinematics. The first definition is dynamics. So what is meant by dynamics? It is a branch of science which deals with the study and behavior of body or a particle in the state of motion. So whenever a body is in motion, it is said to be dynamics. Okay, what is meant by statics? Statics means when the body is in the rest or in the state of rest. Right. The first significant contribution to dynamics was made by Galileo, so in the year of 1564. Later, Newton formulated the fundamental laws of motion. So from that, dynamics have two streams, which is said to be kinematics and kinetics. Right. So what is meant by kinetics? And kinematics means, see guys, kinematics is a study of relationship between displacement, velocity, acceleration and the time of the given motion without considering the forces that causes the motion. It is a branch of dynamics which deals with the study of properties of motion of the body or a particle under the system of forces without considering the effect of forces. So guys, there is only one difference between kinematics and kinetics, means that it is a study of a relationship between all the terminologies like velocity, acceleration, displacement, time, okay, for a given motion, okay, without considering the forces, means it is called kinematics. But with considering the motion, cause of motion, forces that causes the motion, means it is called as kinetics. So we also will see the definition for kinetics. So see guys, the kinetics is the study of relationship between the forces acting on your body, the mass of your body and the motion of your body. Or kinetics is the branch of dynamics. It's a branch of dynamics which deals with the study of properties of motion of the body. Right. So which causes the force to be in the motion is called as kinetics. This is the only difference between kinetics and kinematics. So the forces which causes the motion is taken into consideration for kinetics, whereas it is not taken into consideration for kinematics. So that is the difference. But this is the relationship between velocity, acceleration, displacement, time and the forces which causes the motion, right? So the same relationship only there in the kinetics, but the thing is which causes the which causes the motion of the body and which doesn't, like with the force which doesn't cause the motion of the body, is to be considered, right? So these are all the basic definitions in kinematics. So we should see about some more terminologies that is related to motion. Okay, so the very first thing is motion. What is meant by motion? A body is said to be in motion if it is changing its position with respect to a reference point. It's a path, right? So when it is having some reference point and it's changing its position, it's said to be a motion. So like as I said, the path means it's an imaginary line. So it's connecting the position of the body or a particle that has been occupied at different instants over a period of time. This path traced by a body or a particle can be a straight line or a linear or a curvilinear. Okay, so path is an imaginary line which connects the position of the body or a particle that is in motion, right, over certain instance of time. So what is meant by displacement and distance and velocity, acceleration means it will be explained in the upcoming lecture video, right? So as I said, you have to know about the motion, path, kinetics, kinematics and few dynamics and kinetics like a relationship we have to learn in this chapter, right? So now I'm going to explain the other terminologies like velocity, distance and displacement. So guys, I have given a small example over here, right? So you can see there is a lake, right? Lake, or you can take it as an example. So this is a path, okay, imaginary path where where a person can this much distance he has been traveled, right? So here I have mentioned two reference points, that is EAX and EAB, and what to say that bx, right, from this point to this point. So here you can see that there's a long distance between a to b, right, isn't it? This is called as distance traveled. So the original distance including all the undulations, it is called as distance, whereas the linear distance and the shortest distance to reach from one point to another point is called as displacement. So this is the difference between distance and displacement, okay? And yeah, like from a point, the speed and velocity has to be calculated for distance as well as displacement, okay? So as I said, displacement is a vector quantity, whereas the distance is a scalar quantity, right? So displacement is the measure of interval between 2 points or two locations along that is the shortest path connecting them. So it may be positive or even negative, right? So when coming to distance, it's a scalar quantity and it's the measurement of interval between two locations along the actual path, right? So this is always a positive one. So when coming to distance and displacement, you can even elaborate this particular figure so that it will be very clear, right? So what is meant by velocity? Velocity is the rate of change of displacement with respect to time, right? And it's denoted by the term v, okay? So we used to tell as distance by time, that is dx by dt, okay? So what is called as average velocity means when an object undergoes change in velocity at different instances. The average velocity is given as a sum of the velocities at different instants divided by number of instants, right? So when there are number of velocities, okay, when an object is traveling from one point to another point, and the sum of velocities with respect to the number of instants is called as average velocity, okay? Instantaneous velocity, it is the velocity of moving particle at certain instant of time. When the velocity of moving particle is calculated with respect to certain instant of time, it is called instantaneous velocity, right? So it's represented by a small mathematical expression, okay, del t to 0, so del x by del t, that is the representation of velocity, right? So what is meant by speed? Speed is the rate of change of distance traveled by the particle with respect to the time, okay? Whereas what is meant by velocity? It's a rate of change of displacement, and speed is a rate of change of distance. So both are with respect to time. When there are more velocities and an object is undergoing a lot of change in velocities, the sum is calculated by the formula of average velocity, okay? And when the velocity of moving particle is calculated with respect to certain instant of time, it is called instantaneous velocity, okay? And the next one is acceleration. What is meant by acceleration? It is the rate of change of velocity with respect to time. So for velocity and the speed, the unit is meter per second, and for acceleration it is meter per second square, right? So as like average velocity, there is an average acceleration. So what is meant by average acceleration means, see guys, when you have more acceleration, that is change in acceleration at different instances, okay, so you can calculate the average acceleration by a average equal to del v by del t, okay? So this is also observed only in the point like where the body is in movement and it is undergoing varying accelerations, right? And the last one is acceleration due to gravity. Yeah, we know that each and every body is attracted towards the center of the earth by a gravitational force, and the acceleration with which the body is pulled towards the center of the earth due to gravity is said as acceleration due to gravity, and it is denoted by the letter g, right? And it's a value is 9.81 meter per second square, right? So now I'm going to explain about Newton's laws of motion.